Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, thank you. And so I met Natalia and then knew about Propy 2 years ago, and then you invited your very nice house and home party in San Francisco, and that was very fun and had an amazing time with Propy team and your friends. And 2 years have passed since then. I'm
Very
very happy.
fast.
Yeah,
Very
it's
quickly.
very fast. Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
And then we met in Japan a year ago.
Ah, yes, yes. So you joined a very big stage, very big event in Japan, and we met there and we had dinner together.
Yeah, that's good times.
Yeah, that was a good time. And I'm very happy Propy is growing steadily, and I'm very happy about that. And I know Propy is well known all over the world, but in Japan, not so many people know about Propy. And personally, I would love to learn more about Propy and really want to share what Propy is for Japanese people today.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, that's a great opportunity, and thanks for the curiosity about the company. Looking forward to answer the questions today.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. And first of all, please make your introduction and Propy.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Natalia. I'm the founder of Propy. I moved to Silicon Valley from Europe 4 years ago, specifically to launch Propy. And the idea behind Propy, the mission is to automate the real estate transaction. We first focus on the US transaction, but then obviously we're looking at the international expansion. So Propy is all about how to make the real estate property purchase seamless, easy, and automated.
Yeah, thank you. Um, and why did you decide to make Propy?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a software engineer by my background, and my first company I launched when I was 19 years old was also in software engineering. And then for many years, actually, I turned my engineering team into a real estate development team. So we were acquiring properties, land, and then building, constructing residential resorts and selling those resorts to buyers from all over the world. So for 15 years, I've been observing and doing transactions cross-border, remotely, via email. Most of the people would come and see our properties, but many were not coming and seeing. But regardless, it was just hard to do the transaction. It was a process full of anxiety for the consumer, for the home buyer. So we had to do everything in-house, check the ownership of the property, make all the paperwork, help even with wire instructions, with money transfer between borders. So this is why after some period of time, I thought, well, the industry is ready for disruption. The industry is ready for the next wave of innovation. Why don't I actually unite my software experience and real estate experience and launch a new venture that would have more impact over the industry? So I moved to the US to actually just be very much focused on technology in real estate.
Amazing. Now you so definitely make innovation, and then you are doing many impact for this industry.
Thank
Yeah, thank you. And so I think so I want to hear about the legal, and I think you needed to change the regulation to make transaction on the blockchain legally binding. So please let us know the story behind blockchain and legal.
Yeah, let's get into the blockchain topic. And in fact, the way our product works right now, we don't need any legislation changes. So, in a nutshell, the way we automate the transaction is that we have the many of the items already digitized in the process. So for example, in the US, e-signatures is adopted, then e-notarization is adopted. So what we utilize in blockchain is that we have smart contract system that actually gets data from e-notarization and e-signatures, and then we build the flow that is self-executing thanks to smart contracts. And when we do the ownership transfer, we do it on blockchain as well as on the old system in the land registry. So we do both. And thus all the paperwork that is being processed on the Propy platform, it's legally binding. It's almost like the old style, but we do it with e-signatures, and we further take a hash of every single document and put it on the blockchain. So every step becomes immutable, obviously, because of the blockchain characteristics. And the goal is to make this process of ownership self-enforcing thanks to smart contract. Of course, in order to do so in the US, we just have to integrate a number of existing systems, and then we can record a grand deed on the county level. In Japan, for example, in order our system to work for brokerages, it can work the way it is today. But if we really want to get into self-executing ownership transfer, then that would be the next stage of innovation. Then we would need a collaboration with the government to actually allow our system to record ownership transfer on their current database, which is a pretty simple integration. It's a matter of the willingness of the government to participate. But having said that, our system currently is absolutely applicable in the Japanese market for brokerages, where we help with the entire process, and then the ownership is being transferred on the land registry in the old way.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. But yes, so you have a partner in Japan. Also, you are funding from market investment, and so you have many partners in Japan and
in these are amazing partners.
And I hope in near future. So how can I say? Yeah, Propy can do same things as America, US for legal situation.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to our expansion to Japan, and our partners to help with their network, and EAJ has been very helpful.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah, and I think in Japan, so real estate and STO is very hot topic. And are there any plans for Propy to join STO?
That's a great question, and we have been researching STOs, and we did small movements there in securitization or tokenization of real estate. I just want to elaborate a little bit. When we talk about tokenization and launching security token for a real estate asset, anywhere in the world, whether it's the US market or Japanese markets, in fact, you are tokenizing not the real estate asset itself, but an entity, a company that owns real estate. So today, because of a lot of legislation burdens, it doesn't make sense, and it's almost illegal if you securitize the hard asset. If you have a title deed, and on this deed you have 1,000 owners, this just doesn't work this way. Thus, any company, any crypto company that is doing tokenization of companies can do real estate tokenization. And we expect, and it's happening already, there will be thousands of companies that are helping real estate owners and real estate developers to tokenize assets in order to sell them in this kind of new way, fractional ownership. There are a number of companies that are already doing fractional ownership of real estate, traditional ones, so it's not a new movement. So we've been researching a lot. We have a number of customers that are willing to tokenize their properties. But at the end of the day, we decided that we will focus only on the automation of the home purchase when it comes to the entire purchase process. And at some point, we see when the market matures in tokenization and STOs, we see that we probably will become a marketplace. So let's say all over the world, you will have about 1,000 assets at a time that are being tokenized. So we will help other companies that are doing STOs to actually suggest those properties to consumers. So this is how we see our play in this this new trend. And I know Japan made a new legislation in the summer that actually helped STOs to be pursued in Japan. So congrats on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I want to ask about the P2P things. So yeah, so in the future, so maybe we talk about the P2P vision last time we met in Tokyo, and yeah, please share about your peer-to-peer vision on Propy.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, there is a white paper of Propy of 2017. Some part of the white paper talks about peer-to-peer, where a buyer can transfer the property between the buyer and the seller. It could be done without any participants, middlemen. We know that it's not feasible yet, and that's not our ultimate goal. Maybe technology will bring us to that level where you will have your phone or your wallet, digital wallet, and then the buyer has the wallet, and then a token that will represent the property will be transferred from one wallet to another, and let's say $1 million in cryptocurrency or in Bitcoin will be transferred to the other party. But this will happen only when the phone or digital wallet have a very high security identity. Because without identity, there is a huge risk that there will be even more cyber attacks and fraud, which is already happening. There are plenty in the real estate industry. And that's, yes, at some point probably it will happen, but I don't see how all the middlemen will necessarily disappear. In the US, at least, we are seeing that realtors will be here forever. Maybe they will not have as high commission, maybe they will have different business models, but there will be always some people involved in the transaction. Today in the real estate US market, there are about 20 middlemen. 20 people in copies, yes, in copies associated with one transaction. Sometimes they say there are 80 that the consumer doesn't see, but normally the consumer sees about 20 different people being copied. It's the agent and their transaction coordinator and their assistant. Then there is escrow and escrow assistant and title and so on. So many, many people. And that's, I think peer-to-peer is too early to talk. Let's actually see how we can eliminate maybe those participants to 10, to 3 then. It's an ecosystem which will evolve to a more technological one. Many participants will stay. And this is why our protocol, our smart contract system, built in a way where many participants can actually log in and participate and provide the data necessary to the smart contract to execute the next step.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you. It is a little bit early. So yeah, let's see the, okay. Thank you. And so then I want to know, how can we involve Propy as buyer or seller? I mean the Japanese people.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a number of Japanese customers already. This is a great news.
Good.
For now, we're doing transactions, mostly Japanese investors acquiring properties here in the United States. And so the Japanese buyer would have an interface in Japanese language in our platform. They would see all the steps, the purchase agreement, the disclosures. They will sign everything with DocuSign. We have explanation how to use DocuSign, how to use Propy, how to go through one transaction step to another. And then the agent here in the United States, they're either Japanese speaking. We have a great agent, Atsuko, that is serving Japanese customers here in Silicon Valley. We have a number of agents in Texas. And so the agent here is either English speaking or Japanese speaking. They see the same transaction in their own language, and this is how you can close a transaction. All of the documents and sensitive data is not exposed to emails and hacks. They're all stored on Propy platform behind a password. This is what we've noticed Japanese buyers appreciate a lot, that everything is stored on one platform behind the password, and they don't have like hundreds of documents or tens of documents exchanged by email. So I know that they appreciate that. And we also had a transaction in Japan with Japanese buyer and Japanese seller.
Oh, really good. And so, yeah, DocuSign is and very familiar. So Japanese people using DocuSign also, and it's very easy for Japanese people. And the very important thing is, so you said you have agent who can speak Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not our own agents. They're agents that are our customers.
I understand. Yeah. And now you have Japanese buyer and seller.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay. So it's amazing. Okay. Thank you.
Actually, find the exact name. Atsuko Yube is the agent here in Silicon Valley. She's doing both residential and commercial deals. And then our friends at EAJ, they work with a number of agents here in the United States. Namely, Samurai is the brokerage that serves Japanese customers. So they've been using our platform as well.
Thank you. And so which country is the most aggressive? How can I say? Yeah, which country is you have most customer? I mean, the buyer or seller?
We're actually focusing on the US market. So we're making our platform popular amongst US agents, US brokerages, and as they start to use Propy more and more often. And some of their customers are foreign customers from Europe, Asia, but the majority are just domestic customers acquiring properties. So all our focus right now is the US, and the next market we really want to focus on will be Japanese market. And what will be important for us is the adoption of fee signatures like DocuSign to be more like higher in Japan, in real estate specifically. And I think this is where, when the real estate transaction will start to be more digital in Japan, this is the right moment for us to enter, because we kind of unite all the digital aspects of the transaction and make it in one seamless flow.
Yeah, you said you will focus on Japanese market, and so now Japan is many people talking about, of course, blockchain and digital transformation, DX things. And so I think it is very good timing for you. And for me, it's good because you will focus on Japanese market. You will come to Japan more often, and we can meet more often.
Yeah, I love Japan. Absolutely. I have to see you more often.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, this is last question. And so, yeah, so you, Tim Draper, you are founding from Tim Draper, and Tim Draper is very famous as an investor and so IT industry, also Bitcoin industry, because Tim Draper is very positive about Bitcoin. And so, yeah, I want to hear about the story you and Tim Draper talking, and how you met, and what Tim Draper, how can I say? Sorry, my English, but so yeah, I want to know, Tim Draper, why Tim Draper love so much Propy and decide to investment?
Great question. Yeah. So first of all, Tim Draper is really a great supporter of startup, not only Bitcoin. He's very famous about his tie with Bitcoin and overall support of blockchain companies. But before that, there's a great book, Startup Hero, written by Tim last year, I think. He invested in Baidu, one of the earliest investors in Baidu. Then one of the earliest people at Hotmail, and he was actually the father of this viral campaign at Hotmail. Then SpaceX, Tesla, DocuSign also. So much has been happened in order to DocuSign to become this large company that it is today, because they had to change legislation so that the world started accepting e-signatures. So he was early in many very transformative startups. And then obviously Bitcoin and blockchain, also very transformative technology and phenomena. We're very grateful to have Tim. He and his parents were venture capitalists for several generations here in Silicon Valley. And the way we got not even introduced, but I was invited to a pitch contest, like Shark Tank pitch contest for blockchain startups, early 2017. And so Tim was a judge, as well as Vinnie Lincoln was a judge, and two other investors. And Bancor was there, a few other companies, like very early stage. And we got the third place, and Tim was asking questions, how exactly we're planning to get to the adoption. At that time, we already had a prototype. And so this is how we got connected. And since then, he has been very helpful. We met a number of times. So he saw our progress, commitment. And I think he is really passionate about one company finally to disrupt real estate with blockchain. I think that what really drove his interest to Propy, and why he was so much into learning details, how we're doing it through years, because it's been 2 or 3 years since we first met. And every single book on the blockchain actually describes the second application after money, right? After Bitcoin as a store of value. The second application is always referring to property transfer, ownership transfer. And we are, I guess, one of the companies that were able to get some traction. We got the first ever blockchain transfer of real estate in the world. Then we did the first ever real estate transaction on blockchain in the US. Then it was the first one in Japan. And it was for the first time our company were utilizing smart contract, avoiding escrow or executing the escrow function, where the money are transferred and the ownership is transferred automatically at the same time. So he was not able to find any other companies in that space, and just saw that we're very committed. He and everybody in this space know how hard it is to get real use case of blockchain, especially in real estate, in such an old and huge market. So I guess this is how we got this fit. He has the patience for the innovation to happen, and we are just very committed, and we believe in this space. We believe in this kind of innovation. So we are very, very happy that we're now partnering with Tim.
Yeah, congratulations again. And that was very great story. Yeah, thank you. And at last, so if you have some comment to Japanese people, please message to Japanese people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Japanese community in the blockchain space and crypto space is outstanding. The adoption rate of the cryptocurrency in Japan is one of the highest in the world. We also know that the Japanese government is very careful. It's not as forbidding as it's done in the US. It's more allowing innovation to happen, not at the pace we'll want to, but it's happening. So really, I think Japan and the Japanese communities, it's at a very, very positive moment and path. More innovation to happen in Japan. So I would recommend to continue pay attention to the cryptocurrency, to the blockchain, to everything that you share. Definitely following your news should be very, very impactful for people, just to understand what's going on, to have this reputation person to actually show the community what is which projects are serious, which tokens, which companies they should pay attention to. Yeah, so that's that. This is what I'd like to share, and thank you for the community to for the curiosity to learn about blockchain innovation and companies like Propy.
Thank you, Natalia. And so some of my friends said so they want to know about Propy more, and but they couldn't find the Japanese article. And so this YouTube is very helpful, and I will translate. Not me, but my friend translator will translate from this English to Japanese, and I will add the Japanese text here. And yeah, it's very
Great.
yeah. Thank
Yeah, I
you.
appreciate that. Yeah, looking forward to come back and see you in person.
Yeah, me too. And so thank you again for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.